With it being Mother's Day in the UK, I thought it'd be a good time to talk about my mother. I've done it in the past. She does feature in my book, A Heartbroken Daughter. There's a chapter called Mum. So I did a whole dedication to her. I wanted her to realize the impact she's had on my life, but also let others know as well. Effectively immortalize her. She deserves it. Um, I do recognize that some people maybe don't have the parents they deserve. I think so. When I talk about my mum, this is no way am I trying to sort of incite insecurities in other people, to say, oh, I'm fortunate to have this person in my life and, but knowing others are suffering. But I think if anything, it's like, I think explain the thing she's done for me and recognize the ray of light I have in my life, who's been an incredible role model. And maybe hearing about that will be a bit of a role model for others. Maybe. Um, So this is my mum. She is, I think, 4'11". I'm 5'11". So I think she may even be 5'10". I don't know, but she's not. I'm tall. She's not. Um, and of course, that's my daughter. And the relationship we all have is quite unique. It's quite beautiful. The way my mum has always been with me is exactly how I am with my daughter. I think I cuddled my daughter more. I don't think we had that growing up. It's just the way we brought up, and I think that just goes through generations. We didn't need to have cuddles per se, like physical cuddles. So it was always a bit. It didn't feel natural to me. But with my daughter, it just feels natural. So I guess there's that side that's slightly different. But my mum has always allowed me to be me in a world where so many people do everything they can to push you in different directions. Of course, she wants the best for me, but she's never pressured me. Never ever. Always allowed me to just make my own decisions, even if on the outside it's unhinged. It can make my finances difficult at times. She's always supported me. She's always supported me. Yeah, I have a big family, and slowly but surely I've been removing people from my life because I recognize where the support is and where it isn't. And I've just been incredibly blessed to have her, in my life, and especially as a parent. So even as a child, like for instance, I my natural father. I started to see it. I didn't see him since about maybe 4 years old. I don't know the exact age. It just went in my life. Um, so I had my stepdad, but he was far more um, stern. He was a rock, a pillar for the family, but wasn't really someone I felt comfortable opening up to all the time or talking about anything and being vulnerable. That was with my mum. I could tell her anything and I wouldn't be judged. I'd be supported. And that's been incredibly beautiful. She has helped me an awful lot financially through my life, and it's something that I intend to give back tenfold. Like my whole life, she's been there when I've needed her. She's been so selfless. It's unreal. I don't like ever needing that from her, but when I have, she doesn't hesitate. She's helped me more than my siblings. Um, Often growing up, they all felt I was her favorite. Um, I wasn't interested in any sort of labels like that. I don't know. I mean, I think sometimes I think sometimes parents naturally gravitate to the most vulnerable. So, like for instance, they were my half brothers, half sisters, or step brothers because they've got different parents. I was the one that had just her, so there was that. But I think personally, I think we just share a similar personality. Not to say the others don't have variants, but I think I'm more closer to her personality than any of the others. But I say she's always been a bit of a rock for me. Like it's a stable, grounded force. I talk an awful lot about abandonment issues and people leaving all the time. She's the one that would never leave. She's the one that stands up for me, even when I'm not aware of it. Someone might try and say something bad on my name. She won't have it at all. She won't. She knows me too much. She knows me too well. So yeah, I can be opinionated, but I'm always do things for the right reason. So anyone that tries to portray me in a false image, it just won't work with her. Even if family members try to, they're best just not say anything because it's not going to go well. Um, so she is an incredible guiding force in my life, and I'm blessed to have her. Like, I'm spiritual, and I know she's put on my path to support this journey of mine. Now we'll have our own experiences, we got our own things, but she is, like I said, she's incredibly selfless. She's obviously raised me and my siblings, but then even ventured out as we was getting older. So we was finishing school, and she started to work in a nursing home. So this is the thing with her. Like me, I try to help people like passively. I share my journey. I try to help people maybe at more of a distance. She is like a natural healer. She helps people firsthand. So she was helping the elderly, the vulnerable in nursing home for years, and then she started striving for better opportunities, I guess, and found it, got a job at the hospital, the local hospital, which is a big step up, and started working for the stroke unit and people with dementia and things like that. So she has so much compassion, um, and time for people. It's quite beautiful. So yeah, she's a first-hand healer. But more than that, she's my mother. And she has been an incredible guiding light in my life, like I say, because we do pick up on people around our life. And I think it's really important we have someone of a positive role model, I think, to give us a glimpse of hope in this world. And that's what she's always been for me. Without her, I'm not saying I wouldn't be who I am today without her. There's no way of knowing that. But what I would say, without her, there wouldn't be. I'm thinking now off the top of my head, there wouldn't be a positive influence. There wouldn't be someone for me to look on and think there's hope for humanity, in all honesty, until my daughter come along. There's just not. Most people are selfish, spiteful, vengeful, greedy. Most of my family fall into those categories, whether they choose to admit it or not. But my mum is a glimmer of light. And I think, I exude that in me too. I think I'm a bit more, maybe, I think, well, everyone says I'm the most stubborn in the family. She can be stubborn, she can be fiery, she can be feisty, but I can hold a grudge a lifetime. And I think that's the thing with me, because I'm very much on the right path of righteous. But she does, I wouldn't say she always gets through to me because I'm stubborn, but I would say she tries her best to give me a different sense of an opinion. So maybe like lower the guard a little bit at times. Maybe try to see it from other. It's like a losing battle sometimes. So we do clash in that sense. So like she might want, because she wants people to get along. But if I feel just in something, I can't back down in it. But she never ever pressures me in that way. Of course, she would love everybody just to make peace and people to get along and everything to be all hunky dory. But I think I think we both have influence on each other, which I think is really nice, because she does listen to me in the same way I listen to her. It's all about an awareness of everybody in your life. Like, who only turns up when they think they're going to gain something? Who's disrespecting you on a regular basis? Who chooses other people over you? And I started making her see that a little bit for herself. It's not manipulating. It's literally just open your eyes, because you want everyone to get along, but look at who these people are on an individual basis. What's this person's character like? What do they do? How selfish are they? And then you just start to notice it, and it's sad, isn't it? That's your family. But it's like, if that's who we're working with, that's who we're working with. I can't just waste my time. But like I say, the way my mum's been with me is exactly a mirror of how I am with my daughter. I might have very little in my bank balance, and my daughter is she's just the most remarkable person I've met. And I know as she gets older, she's going to be just like, wow, how's a human like that even exist? And I feel like that's an extension of me and my mum. But, I think she has the potential to be even better than all of us. And I think that's quite brilliant, to be totally honest. She's not one to expect anything. She's very low maintenance, which makes me want to give her everything. So, for instance, she might want something, but she never demands it. She never puts pressure on me, never makes me feel guilty for struggling at times. and makes me want to give her everything I have. So sometimes I have very little in my bank balance, and I know she wants to do something. Maybe she's going out with her friends at the weekend, and she just wants to, like, I know she's going to want McDonald's, or she's going to want something, and I've only got maybe like I've given her some, let's say I've got 15 quid left, and it's like, I know she needs some. If I was to say anything to her, she'd say, don't worry about it. But then I just give her what I have, because I know she's going to do more of it than I am in that moment. So there's times when I'll just give her everything I've got. Now, it's not always the world, because I haven't got the world to give yet. One day, maybe. But for now, and that's what my mum's like. If I need, it comes from a need. I'd rather not ever need anything. But sometimes in life we do. Who do we have to call upon? And I think that says an awful lot. Is when you're at rock bottom, who do you know will be there? Like when you're at your real rock bottom, they're not going to judge you. It's not going to be about making you feel guilty for needing help, because we all go through moments. Who's going to genuinely go to help you? Who's coming in like a firefighter to save you? My mum. I can always rely on my mum. In the same way my daughter knows that as soon as she needs me, I'm always there. And again, I think that's reflected upon my mum, who started all this. Now, I don't know what her childhood was like, but I don't think, to be honest, I don't think people from her I think she's the new generation, my mum. To be honest, I think she is. Now, I can't say that for certain, because I don't remember the people from the past, like my ancestors and things. But we all know, I think, as you go back through history, people were far more firm, stoic. And she isn't like that. It's a breath of fresh air, and effectively, it gives you the platform to be. And I think that's great, because I come across many people with very, very narcissistic parents who put the weight of their life on them. They blame them for everything they've missed out on. They tell them they're terrible. You're not good enough. Never had that from my mum. Sometimes she wants me to be a bit more grounded. Maybe don't have my head in the clouds, because I'm a dreamer. I do expect big things in my life. And sometimes she'd rather us be a bit more pragmatic, and, just, that may come, but just let's, maybe just focus a little bit on now, because you're going to need things. And I'm like, don't worry about me. I've got this. And sometimes you do need that grounding element, people just to keep it there. But then but she always says that, like, she's always supporting me. Like I said, every book I've done, she's bought, and she's always said positive things. I know she's my mum, but she's actually genuinely enjoyed what I've done, and that was one of the big things for me. Is I was always worried that, like, I don't usually, if anyone knows my journey, I'm not really someone that gets too attached to things or worry about other people's opinions and things like this. But there was a genuine fear that in this lifetime I might achieve something great. I don't know what it is, but I might achieve something, and she might not be there to witness it. And I always thought that would be such a shame if anything good that comes to me only happens after she's gone. And that was a worry for me, that time was going too fast and I'm not achieving what I know I can do. So to do 6 books now, whether she's here to see the financial rewards, at least she's witnessed me create something out of nothing, push myself further than I've ever pushed myself before, and then go after a dream, and I think do something that maybe I don't know if anyone ever did in the rest of the family, the generations before me. It's not about reputation, recognition. It's not about financial things. It's literally I've done the books, done 6 books, and that's incredible. I didn't even think I'd do one. But I always thought maybe by the end of life I will. So she's got to witness that firsthand now, and even read those books, and even get to hear a chapter that I wrote. I don't want to go too far, because there's like a spiritual element to it. I'll do a little bit here. Then there is the side to her that everyone would dream of having. A mother that has supported me my entire life, by my side throughout all the good and bad. In fact, she was the first person to hold my daughter, even before Cassie or me. I was worried about Cassie after such an exhausting delivery. She was in no state to comprehend what had happened, let alone hold a baby. Mum's hands were the first to embrace the precious life that is my daughter Jessie. When moments get too hard and I begin to self-doubt, she is there to keep me going. I'm incredibly strong-willed, always have been. I think it comes from knowing she is there by my side, never alone or fighting solo. She is my wings when I need to fly. Without her, maybe I wouldn't be so strong. Perhaps I wouldn't be the me I love. I like who I am, a mirror image of my mother. I travel the earth for Jessie. It's not easy, the journey is long and demoralizing, at least for those return moments. Mind all exhausted, eyes strained, body aching, especially knees. Arduous, but Jessie is worth the suffering. To make myself available for her, I've had to turn down some great career opportunities, offers I can't afford to dismiss. It's gut wrenching having to weigh up and decide everything with pros and cons. In the end, Jessie always outweighs everything. The issue is I need the income to travel and, of course, pay bills. But if the time isn't available to see Jessie, what's the point of money? A regular conflict in my mind. My mum is the saviour. While I do all the travel and throw my body on the line time and time again, she supports my cause, financially assisting until I am able. Without her, my commitment and sacrifice would be in vain. I just want to get through. Oh, I think I missed a little bit there. I think I might have edited the book too much. I may have to go back through this. I did make a point. She's my wings when I need to fly. But I'm not seeing it in the words. I'll have to go back through it. There may be a point where I've edited the book. I may have re-edited the book and took something out by accident. I'm not sure. I wouldn't have thought so, but it's just I'm not seeing it. So that's the only worry there. Um, yeah, I don't want to go too far off here. That's annoyed me if it's not there. I will have to go back and see if I've got different copies. Yeah, they may have been edited and it's maybe a chunk may have got deleted by accident. But yeah, anyway, one thing is that my mum says to me sometimes, like sometimes she helps me like financially, maybe she can't help the others. And one thing she says with that is everybody else has someone, you don't have anyone. So they all have partners and things. But the thing is, they always like, I'm not asking people to help me, but if I was in their shoes, I would help. And I just think that's what it shows. It's not that I'm expecting people to help. It just, for me, it shows character of people. You know, if one of my sisters, for instance, before the argument, before the problems we have with each other, if they were alone and I was in a relationship and I had a partner, we had money coming in because there's two incomes and things, and I know my sibling has been separated from their child, they've had their whole life taken away from them, and life's a struggle and having to cope on their own. They're lonely, so they're isolated, they carry trauma, and their life isn't how they want it. You know, effectively, they've had their whole life torn apart from them. I'd want to check in on them, make sure they're good. And if they're struggling financially because they're literally doing it all alone, I would help. Money's just money. Like anyone knows me, you know, I don't care about money. But none of apart from my mum, no one else has on any of those levels. They don't bother. So that when my mum helps, they get offended. Sometimes they get spiteful about it. Like you're leeching in some way. And it's like, well, no, I just genuinely need the support sometimes. And witnessing her do that for me makes me passionate about doing it for others. So when I'm in a position where I can support other people, you bet your ass I'm going to help people. And I've said that before. If I'm wealthy in the future, I will help. I will help people struggling. It'll only be kind people, people with good hearts, and I'll be selective of that. I won't have people tell me who to help and who I shouldn't help. I'll know if someone's got a kind heart and they deserve an opportunity just to get their life back on track. And I'd say I've been very lucky that my mum's been here for me, and can't say many others have. So she's been a rock throughout my entire life, childhood. She's the one I was always going to. I was always comfortable telling her anything and everything. And growing up, we literally talk on the phone pretty much every day, like literally. And we live so far apart because I relocated. But before I relocated, visited most days after school with the kids and things like that. Was always visiting. So yeah, my mum is a big part of my life. And I'm hoping that before it's too late, that I get to truly bless her, because she deserves it. Yeah. So anyway, I, I know what I do with my daughter, for instance, is um, if I think just continuing a legacy really like that. I don't know, my daughter will continue that trend, no matter how toxic the world is, how spiteful, vengeful. We keep our hearts pure. We keep love close by, and we appreciate those that are closest to us, and we make sure we laugh, we smile, and enjoy the good company. But never let anyone crush a dream. So yeah. I've been very lucky to have my mum, because without her, it begs the question, who else would I have?